What's up, everybody? It's me, Yemmy the Ferret here, with another episode of YemmyCast, a video game podcast on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, and, of course, YouTube. Welcome. It's that time again where we start talking about some video game news. In today's lineup, we have Call of Duty news, One Punch Man news, CyberPunk news, Super Mario Bros. Royale news, and so much more. There's so much to get to today, so let's jump right in with the first news. Probably the biggest news that I have to go over today is Fortnite. Oh, Fortnite, Yemmy? Yes, Fortnite has once again taken another person's moves and put them into the game without crediting them. It all started with the Carlton dance. The guy who plays Carlton tried to sue Fortnite, and also the backpack kid with his floss dance also was trying to do something as well. Those two cases are still in limbo in the court system, so we don't actually have a real definitive answer on whether it is fair use or whatever. Even though it was a while back, I reported on people claiming that it's probably going to be fair use. A few lawyers came out saying that it was probably going to be fair use, but the court system has yet to determine whether it is or not. This just seems like blatant ripping off of someone's idea. Jacksfilms is a YouTuber. He's been around for a long time. He's constantly kind of changing up his formula a little bit. He does a long-running series called Yesterday I Asked You. He also is the person who created the Your Grammar Sucks videos and all that kind of stuff. If you want to, of course, you can check him out. He's a big YouTuber with a big forehead. So essentially, a few days ago, he put out a video saying that Fortnite is literally selling his deep dab. And what he did during a video 2 years ago on the same day that they released this is he put out a video called My Deepest Dab Ever. And what it did was just him doing a dab as deeply as possible. I know, not much description on this one, but that's literally all it is. You crouch down and you dab and you come back up, and it's a deep dab. So I think this is a little bit different than those other cases. Whereas, dance move, that one dance move was probably made by a studio, the Carlton dance move. I don't think that was actually his idea. Now, the Floss Kid has a little bit more of a case there because he actually, got the moves. He actually did the moves himself and blah, blah, blah. Same thing here. This is definitely Jacksfilms' idea, and Fortnite just seems to be taking it from him and using it in their own game. During the video, he showed off, himself buying his own move in the game, and he advertised that on his Twitch, he'll be playing Fortnite, and every time he kills someone, he'll do his deep dab emoji. Also, he set up a code that you can use that'll give him some creator money or whatever. It's like, I don't exactly know how it works, but he gets a percentage of the profits for everything you buy on the Epic Store with his code. And it's like they're selling probably like 100,000 of these deep dabs emotes every day. So you think like how much is 100 V-Bucks is what, $1 or something like that. So it just seems like a really shitty practice for Epic Games and Fortnite to keep doing this over and over and over again. And I think this one is a little bit more egregious than the rest. Yes, he's a YouTuber. Yes, he has a great personality. Yes, his video has almost 1.5 million views. Is anything going to be done about this? Is Fortnite going to actually contact him and be like, "Oh, sorry, Jack Nicholson," but I don't think so. I think they're just going to let it ride once again. And if you are going to get the deep dab emote, make sure you use the Jacksfilms Games code, and you can support the creator. Unofficially support the creator, which is Jacksfilms. This is, it's just a weird thing to me because, in any other game like Payday or something like that, they go out and they reach out to creators and have them work with them to create stuff in the game. H3H3, Ethan and Ela, the Payday creators reached out to them and put them in the game, put voice packs in the game, etc., etc. Why don't they just do that? Fortnite could do that. Put a ninja emote in there. I'm sure that would sell so fast, they wouldn't even be able to count their money with a money counting machine. But no, instead, Fortnite's like, we're just going to release it, whatever. This all started when people started tweeting Jack, and showing a leak of the new emote that's coming out. And originally everyone thought it was more of a joke, and then it seemed more and more real as more and more people started to show him this emote. And then finally Fortnite updated and revealed that the Deep Dab emote is available for 200 V-Bucks. Yeah, so it doesn't look good on Epic Games' part. I'm sure that they won't even care, and anyone who is using the hashtags or using the codes, they probably won't care anyways. So what's the point in all this? I don't know, but I thought I might as well bring it up to you guys, since it is, Jacksfilms is one of those YouTubers that I've been subscribed to for a long time, and I think that this is just a blatant ripoff. This isn't like them just using a simple basic dance move. This is like literally that they ripped off his idea, his move, his video, and they just put it in the game without any thought. Next on the agenda is probably even bigger news, but EA went to court in the UK, and they talked to the lawmakers in the UK about loot boxes, and they said that loot boxes are ethical and they're surprise mechanics. That's the line that I'm sure lots of people will be using from this day forward. So EA is at the heart of the loot box controversy because of all the loot box situations in pretty much every game that they have. Star Wars Battlefront, FIFA, Madden, it all has some sort of loot box in it. Now, am I saying that I think loot boxes are unethical? I'm still a little bit on the fence about it, because technically you are kind of gambling, because you don't know what the rarity is that you're going to get, etc., etc., especially from things like Call of Duty. I know Call of Duty World War II, I spent so much money on that game just trying to get the special gun skins, and do I regret doing that? Yes. At the time, was I thinking of the possible financial problems I would have had if I didn't have the money to buy 10 loot boxes in a week? No, I wasn't thinking about that. But I'm sure there's a lot of people who they spent the money and they got shit out of those boxes. The drops were all right for Call of Duty World War II. To be honest with you, like, I got a new weapon skin probably every 3 or 4 that I unlocked. And when I got duplicates, I did get a good amount of coins. And yes, they did have the daily challenges and etc., etc., to get the coins to try and get the boxes. But nowadays, if you go and play Call of Duty World War II and you want to get that new special gun and you have to get all those different weapons and stuff, and the events don't go on anymore, just like with the Modern Warfare Remastered, the same thing. You look at all these new weapons, you want them so badly, but they're locked behind that loot box wall. It annoys you a lot. So getting back to the topic at hand. So speaking with politicians in the UK this week, the publisher, VP of Legal and Government Affairs, Kerry Hopkins, likened loot boxes to blind package toys and explained that internally, the organization refers to them as surprise mechanics. Surprise! Surprise, you spent $5 and got shit! I do get that argument, though. Like, the argument that, it's just like a mystery box or a pack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Pokemon cards. You never know exactly what you're going to get, and the rarities are, of course, different. But I feel like this is different again. I don't feel like this is the same concept, because the game is all digital. There's nothing physical that you're getting yourself. So she goes on to say, people enjoy surprises, and so it's something that's been a part of toys for years, whether it's a Kinder Egg or a Hatchimal or an LOL surprise. We do think the way that we have implemented these kind of mechanics in FIFA, which of course is our big game, our FIFA Ultimate Team and our packs, is actually quite ethical and quite fun, enjoyable for people. So essentially what they're saying, okay, is that because they think that it's ethical, it's ethical. Anyways, so there's no doubt that people enjoy surprises and collecting things like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, etc., etc., etc. But like I said before, this, the FIFA Ultimate Teams and stuff like that, it's digital. It's all digital. It's nothing like physical they can have. And plus, there's a new FIFA game every year. There's a new Madden game every year, blah, 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 etc., etc. So they don't hold value. They don't retain any value like anything else would. And they say that they disagree that it's not ethical and exploitative. They say that the evidence that shows it's leading to gambling, they just don't believe it. She also continued that the firm is against the recent regulations installed in Belgium and the Netherlands, where it's had to alter its titles due to laws which have effectively banned the sales of loot boxes entirely. Politicians did point out the existence of third-party websites where in-game items are sold for real money in the real world against the terms and conditions of the titles in question, but Hopkins merely suggested that these are bad people and they're to blame for these services and not the systems or games in question. I don't think we can agree to say that games are addictive, she said. I would tell you that Electronic Arts already is a very responsible company. Okay, very nice comments. That made me laugh. Thank you for the laugh, Carrie Hopkins. They're going about this the entirely wrong way. Like, you have to admit, like, this is the wrong way to go about this. They definitely needed to just continue on with the, toys and people do it, so it's okay I think they needed to go along with those lines, not what they went through here. Now, me personally, I'm not a big fan of FIFA. I don't think I've ever picked up a FIFA game, to be honest with you. I played Mario Strikers, or Mario Soccer as it's called in the UK and Europe, or Mario Football, was it Mario Strikers Football or something like that in the UK? Whatever. I played that, but those games were before the time of loot boxes. So I asked my good friend PlayerTwo to what his response to this article would be, and his thoughts on the article. And thankfully he allowed me to use it for the podcast for today. But he says it's pure horse shit, bro. They're arguing that the different packs don't hold a better ratio of success for packs, which defeats the point entirely of having weighted packs to open. They're happy enough to take the money of people, but having a surprise element is really poor and may as well only have one pack type that people should open. Totally dumb. It's shit like this that is killing FIFA for the everyday player. So essentially what he's saying is, because there's multiple tiers and different rarities and stuff like that, it doesn't seem to have different or better ratios the more money you spend. It all seems to be the same ratio. So maybe if they slim this down and put it into one pack, maybe it'd be a little bit more ethical. He continues to say that game mechanics have been the worst in the recent FIFA, and even pro players are kicking off about it, and it's reverted back to older FIFAs that require very little skill and more abusing the same strategy every game. People just don't give a shit about it, and it could highlight why they're including FIFA Street, a very, very popular game, as a mode for FIFA 20 in order to get more people to purchase it. Kind of reminds me of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. So what are your thoughts about this whole thing? Obviously, the Netherlands and Belgium have already banned loot boxes as a whole. And so EA has already had to change and manipulate their games to get around that. So what are your guys' thoughts for this? Should loot boxes be banned? Should it be more or less, should there be like a notice before you open a loot box saying that gambling is addicting? Call this number if you have an addiction. That might be a reasonable thing to do, especially because it seems like the comments in Twitter and on these articles are very mixed. A lot of people going, well, it doesn't seem that bad, and other people going, yes, this is really bad. So me personally, slap on a warning, a Surgeon General's warning on this baby. Make your ratios better for getting more rare loot, and you've solved your problem a little bit, or you haven't solved the problem, but you've made the situation a little bit better. Better rarities, better ratios, and put a warning before you open or go to the loot box screen saying, hey, if you have an addiction to gambling, consult someone, tell someone, call this number, etc., etc., etc. That could really make them look a lot better. And no, they don't want to say, oh, but loot boxes aren't gambling. That's what they want to say. But in total, it is pretty much gambling. You are rolling the dice every time you open up a pack, and whether you get a high-ranking player, that's completely random and up to the system they have in place. All right, so some sad news and big news as well. Police have confirmed in New York that the YouTuber Desmond Etika Amofa has unfortunately passed away. They sent out a tweet, I think it was 6 days ago on June 19th at about 8 p.m. They said that he's been missing. He's 29 years old, approximately 6 feet tall, 160 pounds. He's a known YouTuber and blogger, and people have been concerned about a recent video that he made on his YouTube channel. So that night, the June 19th, he put out a video talking about he was walking around in New York apologizing for his behavior and confirming that he does have a mental illness. In the video, which has been reviewed from YouTube, he also talks about social media being a negative force in his life, and he's also been he was stating that it can give you the image of what you want your life to be and get blown completely out of proportion, and unfortunately, he says it consumed him. So it came out recently that unfortunately he has been found deceased. Cause of death has not been confirmed yet by New York PD or anyone else, and I think that is more of a private matter, which I will not be talking about on the podcast here. It is just a sad thing to see another person, unfortunately, probably take their own life due to a mental illness. He was pretty big on YouTube. He had about 130,000 followers on YouTube, as well as 321,000 followers on Twitter, and 252,000 followers on Instagram. Possessions belonging to him were found on the Manhattan Bridge on Monday, including his Switch console. He makes a lot of videos on about Nintendo, and he was a person you would go to for Nintendo-related news. And it's a very unfortunate situation, and my thoughts go to his family and friends, and in this time of grieving. In more sad news, the Metroid Prime developer Andy O'Neill has passed away at the age of 47. He passed away on June 10th, and there hasn't been any explanation or reason of death to my knowledge right now. But he was most famous to Nintendo fans for being the lead on Metroid Prime 1 and 2, and he also worked on Metroid Prime 3, which is called Corruption. He was originally from Birmingham in the UK, and he relocated to Austin, Texas in the 90s to work for Acclaim on Turok Rage Wars and Turok Shadows of Oblivion. He later joined the nearby Retro Studios and made his name working on Metroid Prime Trilogy, some of the most beloved games in Nintendo's library. In 2006, O'Neill departed Retro and founded Blue Point Games, a company that would quickly find fame porting titles like God of War, Metal Gear Solid, Uncharted, and Shadow of the Colossus to Sony hardware. In a recent Facebook post that confirmed the news, it was stated as saying, Andy never was afraid of a challenge, drove us to undertake difficult projects and exceed expectations. He would remind us that we do this work not because it is easy, but because it is hard. He always pushed Blue Point to do great things, and we will continue his legacy. For the past 20 years, Andy called Austin his home, always embraced the local lifestyle. Live music was a big part of him, whether attending music festivals or playing his bass guitar for friends at home or around town. Andy's contributions to the gaming industry will never be forgotten. We are saddened by his passing and grateful he will forever be a part of our lives. Alright, so getting out of the more sad news, we're going to go into some more chipper news. The WiiU just received its first firmware update for the year of 2019. It appears that Nintendo hasn't completely forgotten about the WiiU, even though they took it off their website, they took down the stores, they took down the etc., etc. A new system update was rolled out, and the description simply says, further improvements to overall system stability and other minor adjustments have been made to enhance the user experience. Thanks, Nintendo. Really giving us some hard-hitting information there. So, hey, more than 52,000 people voted for their favorite Pokemon, and the results are in. The number one overall rated Pokemon was Charizard, which I'm not surprised about that. Charizard is one of those Pokemon that everyone latches onto. And then in second place, with only losing by about 50 points, was Gengar, which is another one that I agree with. Gengar is a very, very popular Pokemon. So in third place was Arcanine, fourth place was Bulbasaur, and then fifth place was Blaziken. And I'm trying to see, Eevee actually was above Pikachu on this list. I don't even see Pikachu on this list. Did they not put him on this list? Him? Her? No, it doesn't look like Pikachu was even put onto the list. So I think that I don't know, that's really weird. That's really weird to me. So also, the number of votes by generation were put in. So Generation 1 got 18,000 votes. And finally, there were 4 Pokemon who didn't get a single vote, which was Silicune, Gothita, Electric, and Yungos. So there you go. The number one Pokemon is Charizard. But this is a little strange because Pikachu isn't on the list. Pikachu isn't even on the list. The staple, the number one, the flagship Pokemon for Pokemon is not even on the list. I'm just double checking myself because I don't see it. There's no Pikachu. How crazy is that? All right, so Crash Team Racing has destroyed Team Sonic Racing in its debut. Right now, Crash Team Racing sits at number 1 in the UK with FIFA 19, Forza Horizon 4, and Days Gone just below it. So the game generated the second highest Week 1 sales in the franchise. It was only being beaten by Crash Bandicoot The Insane Trilogy. It has managed to secure the third best launch in 2019, just behind Days Gone and Resident Evil 2 Remake. It also managed to have a stronger debut than Team Sonic Racing. It sold more than 4 times as many copies as its opening weekend. Only 16% of the game's launch sales were on the Switch, as opposed to Sonic Team Racing, which was 39%, which is reasonable because PlayStation was the main fan base for Crash. Even though it is multi-platform now, especially with CTR releasing on all platforms the same day, that is an interesting statistic. All right, so Super Mario Battle Royale has received a takedown notice from Nintendo, and they have made some changes, but it is still up and running as of right now. Super Mario Battle Royale, I watched a retro fellow play it on stream. It looked really cool. I played it a few rounds myself. It was a lot of fun. It kind of took the formula of Mario and made it a multiplayer sensation. If you died, you were out, but there was like 3 levels you go through, and whoever got to the end won, of course. I know that it definitely is Super Mario, and I knew that this was going to come. Nintendo obviously doesn't like people to borrow their assets, so I knew they were going to throw out a cease and desist order relatively soon. But in response to this, Mario has been swapped out for a custom-made avatar, and some slight adjustments have been made to the existing enemies, powers, backgrounds, and environments on display. The trademark Mario Bros. Sound effects have also been taken out of the game, and the game is now reportedly named DMCA Royale. According to Gaming Reinvented, the game still looks a little too similar to the source material and unsurprisingly has the same level design and basic mechanics as is. For more information about this fan-made Battle Royale, blah, 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 blah. So I think everyone knew this was coming. The game was generating a lot of traction, especially in the live streaming community, so it was inevitable that this was going to happen. Luckily, it's still up for now. I don't know if they've changed enough about it, so Nintendo will be off their backs. That's only the future can tell for that one. All right, so NBA 2K19 newcomers have been outraged by the in-game video advertisements. The game went on sale in North America for about $2.99. So people who were sports fans and not took up this deal and bought it. But new players got quite the shock when they were seemingly forced to watch unskippable ads in their paid game before each session. Sure enough, it led to immediate outrage and a lot of confusion online. Although these 2K TV advertisements are being reported elsewhere as a new addition to the game, this is not the case. So the 2K TV can be turned off in the settings, and it has been in the game since for a while now. I don't know if it's been since the beginning, but it has been for a while. Eventually, the information on how to turn it off was spread to various Reddits and online sources, but it is still a questionable practice for the developers and publishers to insert video advertisements in a paid game. I remember, I think it was either Need for Speed or Burnout. I think the Obama campaign for his original run as president put up advertisements inside on billboards in Burnout and stuff like that, which is a good idea. Now, those type of tactics aren't too bad, seeing as, it's just a billboard, and, I mean, we see billboards every day. But having the game literally stop and make you watch a advertisement. I mean, what is this, Hulu? Come on. I personally would not have enjoyed, being forced to watch an advertisement, and yes, I definitely would have gone straight away to turn that crap off. That is a practice that I do not want to see in future games. That is a practice I don't want to see in any game, because being forced to watch something, I mean, we already got that on YouTube if you don't have ad blocker on, and being put in the video games, now that's my territory even more so, and I will not stand for that. That is why I'm sitting down to do this podcast. Alright, so Nintendo said that it would be a disservice to loyal fans to release Animal Crossing in a rushed state. As you know from the E3, Animal Crossing New Dawns has been delayed until next year, and Nintendo America's president Doug Bowser said the company would not bring the game to the market before it was ready. He is also quoted as saying, "We're not going to put a game out before we think it's ready to be enjoyed by fans. In the case of a franchise like Animal Crossing that has so many loyal fans, we'd be doing them a disservice if we put the product out that was rushed." So it's a difficult decision for a company to make to move a ship date out. We think moving to March 20th of next year was the right decision because we need to give the development team enough time to make the game what we want to make. I read that wrong, but I'm not going to correct myself. So that's been the Nintendo approach from the beginning, and it's something that we're going to continue to do. We're not going to rush a game out until it's ready because we want to keep the quality bar high. Ooh, having some troubles here with this one. Like I said the last time I talked about this, I am perfectly fine with waiting for New Horizons. People who are wanting this game right now, who are upset about the delay, who are pulling out, backers who are pulling out of Nintendo because they're delaying it, are just idiots. I am going to say that right now, and you can quote me on that. If you want a game half-baked, half-made, half-whatever, go play No Man's Sky in its original state. Go play Fallout 76 in its original state, and then you'll learn the error of your words. Because, I mean, I'm sure Animal Crossing isn't a playable state right now, and it's probably perfectly fine to play. If they need to do some finishing touches, do some more game testing, etc., I'm all for that. Don't give them shit. Don't give them flack for not releasing a game that's not in a state that they want to release it in. Nintendo has always set the bar high for their games, and whether they come out good or bad, that's for you to judge. But for the most part, their games have been high quality, have been tested to so far of an extent that they don't need an update. It's just unfortunate to see so many people reacting negatively to this when they're looking in your best interest. If you want to pay $60 for a game that, when it loads, it crashes right away, Go play that World War II game that the Payday developers put out. That game didn't work day one. I don't even know if it works now. I've never looked into it. But people, calm down. Animal Crossing, you just have to wait a little bit longer. I know all you want to fish and you want to collect new clothing and make new houses and set up an island. You just gotta wait a little bit longer. Just wait a little bit longer. Be patient. I guarantee they're not going to delay the game again, and hopefully the people who are developing the game, they have enough time for their family, enough time to rest, enough time to do things that will keep their energy up, their mindset positive, so that we can get the best experience that we can out of an Animal Crossing game. Okay? Okay. Alright, so Realm Royale is now available as a free download on the Switch. Realm Royale is the Battle Royale mode to Paladins. So it wasn't free before, but now it is a free-to-play game. I think the paid version came with everything, all characters, etc., etc. But you're going to need 2.5 gigabytes of space to use to play the Fantasy Battle Royale game on your system. So if you haven't heard about Realm Royale before, it's a class-based game where in large numbers of players fight to the last individual or team standing on the battlefield. The classes put a unique spin on the popular genre, allowing each player to unlock different abilities and weapons, and then work towards special end goals over the duration of the match. So it seems like just another Fortnite-type game. There's a few different things in there just to kind of spice it up a little bit. If you're interested in this game, like I said, it is free to download today. Alright, so Tabletop Racing World Tour has got a permanent Switch price cut, and they have issued refunds to early buyers. The Greenlight Games and Playrise Digital have today announced that the Tabletop Racing World Tour Nitro Edition will be receiving a permanent price drop, and in reaction to feedback from the Switch community. The game will now be available to download for about $25, and its initial price was $30. Further details about this decision or comments and feedback, they haven't been revealed yet, but in addition to this price reduction, anyone who bought the game for the full price will get a partial refund for the difference. If you happen to be someone who downloaded the game early, you can go to greenlightgames.com, You can go to Greenlight Games and claim your refund. Incidentally, this announcement comes alongside the game's launch in Japan, where it can be purchased for about 2,500 yen, I think that is. And a further 25% off sale will also be available from today for a limited time in Europe and the USA. Tabletop Racing was free on PlayStation Plus, I think it was last year or 2 years ago. I enjoyed it. It reminded me of Revolt. If you don't know what Revolt is, you should. And it did remind me of that. The drifting mechanics were pretty fun in this game, and the racing environments were really fun. I haven't played it since it was free, but I do remember having a good time with the game, and I enjoyed my time with it. I'm not sure what all the lashback at the developers was or anything like that. Maybe for the Switch release. I'm not sure, but I do remember having a good time with this game. If you want to, you can check it out. There's trailers all over, and I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of gameplay and reviews too, so you can get all your information. Alright, so Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, the full roster of playable characters has been revealed, and they are Black Panther, Black Widow, Captain America, Captain Marvel, Crystal, Daredevil, Deadpool, Doctor Strange, Drax, Elektra, Elsa Bloodstone, Falcon, Gamora, Ghost Rider, Groot and Rocket, Hawkeye, Hulk, Iron Fist, Iron Man, Luke Cage, Magneto, Miles Morales, Miss Marvel, Nightcrawler, Psylocke, Scarlet Witch, Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man, Star-Lord, Storm, Thor, Venom, Wasp, and Wolverine. All these characters will be playable day one. There's also going to be 27 bosses, 11 non-playable characters, and a plethora of DLC characters that will be coming to the game in the future. Are you excited for Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3? Let me know in the comments below. Alright, fans of One Man Punch, you're going to be getting a video game. It's called One Man Punch, A Hero Nobody Knows. It's going to be a 3v3 brawler, and that's about all we know about the game. It has a nice style to the animation, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully this will be better than that game that came out earlier this year, Jump Force. A lot of people had a lot of things to say about that one, mean things to say about that one. So far, they've only showed off a few characters, probably from the anime itself, and some of the fighting mechanics and stuff like that. More information is obviously going to be coming in the future, but so far, we really don't know much else other than it's a 3-on-3 brawler. Alright, CyberPunk 2077 has a free theme on the PlayStation Store right now called Mercenary of the Dark Future. The theme is available in North America, Europe, and Japan. If you go to the store right now, you can get the free CyberPunk 2077 PlayStation 4 theme, complete with its own icons, sound effects, and backing music. And it's not the most exciting theme, but it's pretty nice for them to put it out for free. I like how the icons look. It's definitely a sci-fi vibe to it. I'm probably going to download this and use it myself. Are you excited for Cyberpunk? Well, this may get you even more excited. Probably not. It's just a theme, but whatever. If you want to, download it for free right now. And if you don't want to, download it anyways, because you never know when you're going to want a new theme on your PlayStation. Alright, so Infinity Ward says that new Call of Duty Modern Warfare gameplay will debut soon. The latest entry for the series from Infinity Ward has been pretty much all we've been hearing about in the Call of Duty scene. It's definitely been behind closed doors and not much has been shown about it, but a number of people have seen the game in action, with the main point of discussion surrounding it being the nature of certain scenarios. We're hoping to see some gameplay now that E3 is over and the game is coming in October. It sounds like the gameplay we've been wanting is going to come. It's going to come to the public pretty soon. Responding to a post on the Modern Warfare subreddit calling for the gameplay reveal, Infinity Ward art director Joel Emslie said, "Almost there. Stay on target." With the game releasing in a few months, we have to imagine the gameplay debut is going to be pretty soon. I'm interested to see how this game's going to play, what gun's going to be in the game, what the story behind this game is going to be, where they're going to start in the franchise, etc., etc., etc. There's a lot of questions I have for this. This is the most questions I've had about a Call of Duty game since, like, Modern Warfare 3 was going to be coming out. Because all the other games, you kind of know where they're going to go. You know, Black Ops 3 and 4, Infinite Warfare, etc., etc. This is a game that's got a lot of question marks on it. Not much has been revealed about it so close to the release date. I'm a little concerned, but I'm also excited to see what the future holds for the Modern Warfare series. Alright, so there's going to be another PSVR experience with Spider-Man, and it's going to coincide with the release of Far From Home. Far From Home is releasing in the beginning of July, and we're going to be getting a PSVR kind of experience along with it. So, just like with Spider-Man Homecoming, you're going to get a short but sweet swing across Queens as Peter Parker himself. There's going to be 4 different suits to pick between, and there's going to be a dangerous enemy to deal with once the headset is firmly in place. In breathtaking virtual reality, you'll finally have the chance to scale and swing from the highest towers in Manhattan. We assume the release will once again be free of charge, hopefully. I would think so. I'm interested in this. The Star Wars experience that they released alongside Battlefield 2 was pretty good, and the last Spiderman VR experience was also good as well. So we'll see what this one turns out to be like. Alright, so the Division 2's latest update has broken the enemy AI and damage output once again. They can't seem to get a lockdown on this stuff, man. I haven't played Division 2 in a while, not since we beat the original game. But the latest patch, titled Update 4, released last week, bringing new character specializations, as well as a bunch of balancing adjustments. However, the patch notes didn't tell the whole story, as players are reporting broken enemy behavior and incorrect damage scaling again. So apparently this has happened before. I think I reported on it before, but I forget. This isn't the first time the issue has reared its ugly head. Enemy AI have been all over the place for a while now, with foes either being way too aggressive or way too defensive, to the point where bigger fights can become a chore. And guess what? Suicidal enemies are most definitely back, with even the lowliest of grunts charging your position without a care in the world. Not ideal for a game where cover-based combat is key. That is so true. That is so true. You would think that bum rushing is what I call it, when an enemy just charges at you for no apparent reason. You think that would have been scaled back a little bit in the AI behavior, but obviously that hasn't been done. Damage scaling was a big problem that Massive seemed to have wanted to handle after it deployed a couple of fixes, but now it appears that it's back, as players are occasionally being killed almost instantly by non-specific enemies. Couple with this the aforementioned enemy behavior bug, and you get a recipe for disaster. That was a big word for me to read. I'm glad that I got that done. So yeah, any thoughts about the AI in this game? I've shared mine before. The AI has been buggy since the start, whether it's running away from a fight and making you chase them to another group of enemies that obviously they didn't know about. I mean, it's just a bug in the game, to them charging at you randomly, to them just chucking grenades at you for hours on end like veteran mode in World at War. It's not the best experience right now, and they're still obviously trying to fix it. They've already released a DLC for this game. It's already nearing the half-year mark for the game, and they're still trying to fix things. This is why we need to wait on games. If it's not completely done, if it's not completely ready, we need to hold off on it. But no, people want the game now. Sheesh. And you know that in a few years after the new Tom Clancy game and the new Rainbow Six game comes out, they're going to forget about this game, and it'll probably still be in a broken state. Alright, so the Sonic team says that 2021 is going to be the next big year for Sonic, and we're going to see a next-gen Sonic, possibly. Back in 2017, Sega released two new games called Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces. The quality between the two wasn't consistent, as a lot of people have told me, but but Sonic Mania was pretty impressive. And despite everything, it's still Sonic Forces still sells in droves. And it seems that Sonic Team might be plotting a similar approach when the Hedgehog turns 30 in 2021. Speaking to Game Informer during E3, the Sonic Team boss teased its plans for the milestone year. 2017 was a big year for Sonic. The next big year for Sonic is 2021. That's the 30-year anniversary. We are now preparing. Additionally, it was pointed out that Sonic Generations was released in celebration of the 20th anniversary. Asked if something akin to this is planned for the 30th, he just replied, maybe. Sonic fans, what do you want in a Sonic game? I don't know. The only Sonic games I've played have been the bad ones, unfortunately. Sonic Mania I've played a little bit since it's been free for PlayStation Plus, and from what I've played, I don't really like the style. I'm not really a fan of how quick it is or how fast it is. That's just me personally. Don't take that to heart. I still think that Sonic is a great character, even though I'd never used him in Smash Brothers. But what do you guys think? Any diehard fans out there, let me know what you want in the next Sonic game. Do you want to be more like Sonic Mania or more like Sonic Forces, or maybe a combination of the two? Well, let's see. And finally, for news today, the Twitter account for Ape Escape was having people thinking that they were teasing a new game, but in an update, they are just celebrating the 20th anniversary of the game, and there is no hints at a new title at all. The Twitter account promoted an updated website, as well as a pop-up shop that will be selling special items for the 20th anniversary of Ape Escape. It's nice to see PlayStation celebrating its franchises, but people are really, really wanting a new Ape Escape. When the original story broke, the Twitter account put up a picture of a monkey, an ape, looking from behind a tree, And they were saying that, the translation for the Japanese text saying that it's been 20 years since then. I have been running, escaping this whole time, but I wonder if anyone is still chasing me anymore. So that led people to believe that, hey, maybe we're going to be getting a new Ape Escape game. But wah wah, it's just the 20th anniversary. And hey, you get a pop-up shop. Congratulations! Woo! And that does it for the news today. I hope that wasn't too strenuous for you guys. My reading has become quite terrible these past few podcasts, so I apologize for that. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just hot weather. As for usual, this part will not be in the audio portion of the podcast. I'm going to open up one pack from the Seto Kaiba Speed Duel packs. I think there's 4 in this box. So we're just going to open one because, that's something I kind of want to do. I kind of want to do one pack at least per podcast just to see what we can get. So we're going to take the one that's on the back and we're going to put the rest of them down. There it is right there. We're going to move our camera down a little bit so that we can get a better view of the card opening. So we'll see. We'll see what we get this time around. If you haven't seen it, I did open the first part of the Duelists of Tomorrow box that has three decks in it. I opened up My Valentine's first. If you want to check that out, you can see that on my channel. The next episode is going to be coming out next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern time as well, where I open up the rest of the packs and see what we get in Joey and Seto Kaiba's packs or decks. But for now, let's open up this Speed Duel booster pack and see what we get. And right away, we got something pretty freaking fantastic. So we got a Mako Tsunami skill card. Skill cards are a big part of the Speed Duel decks. They give you a little bit of an advantage every so often. So let's see what this one says. Once per turn, you can pay 500 life points to discard one water monster, then add one water monster from your graveyard to your hand. With a different name and with a different level, no more than twice the discarded monster's level. If you do that, flip this card over. This one's called the World's Greatest Fisherman. That's what it's called. And then it's got a little bit of a shine to it for the letters. But if you're a water person, that's a good one for you to have. So Mako Tsunami. All right, so next we have a spell card called Warrior Elimination. I got this one in my last pack. I think the last time I did a Seto Kaiba pack opening. It just targets one warrior monster, and it destroys all warrior monsters on the field. So once again, it's kind of OP. Next up, we have Fulfillment of the Contract. I remember this card from the old days. Activate this card by paying 800 life points. Then target one ritual monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and equip this card with it. When this card is destroyed, banish the equipped monster. Not too bad of a card. Definitely OP once again. But Speed Duel cards seem to be a lot more stronger than the regular cards. Finally, in this pack, we have Arcane Barrier. Each time a face-up spellcaster monster on the field is destroyed, place one spell counter on the field, maximum 4. You can send this card and one face-up spellcaster monster you control to the graveyard. Draw one card for each spell counter that was on this card. So if you're using a lot of those Dark Magician and Chocolate Magician and all those different Magician girls, this might be one that you want to put in your deck. The Seto Kaiba ones have been weird. The packs seem to have more water type cards or water based cards. This one we got one. We got the Tsunami card. But the Kaiba ones, for some reason, just a lot of water cards get put into these ones. It's really weird. You would think that the Seto Kaiba ones would have the Mai, Joey, and Seto cards all together, but instead it seems that we're getting kind of, not really random, but more water-based ones. And you would also think that the Arcane Barrier card would have been put into the Yugi packs as well. But, yep, that's one pack down. Throw that on the ground. PETA can suck my ass. All right, and that does it for this episode of YemmyCast, a video game podcast. Remember that the 50th episode is coming, and that is going to be a live episode where I do everything live, and I'll answer questions, I'll talk with chat, and most importantly, I'll be giving away 2 t-shirts for free. So if you want to, tune into that episode. It's going to be the 50th episode. Next week I'll have more of a time schedule for it, but it's probably going to be at 9:30 a.m. on Sunday. If you want to, you can check that out. So the audio version is going to be a little late that day, but I'm sure you guys don't mind. Also, we started Call of Duty 3 for live streaming. Essentially, it's a revisit of Call of Duty 3 because that's the one that most people say is the worst. So if you want to, you can check that out. It's going to be Thursdays and Mondays that I stream that game, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you want to, on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m., we're going to be starting Metal Gear Solid 3. So if you want to, you can join me for that as well. Next episode of the podcast is Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Thank you so much for tuning in to the premiere of this episode, which is Wednesday at 4 o'clock. It's a pleasure talking with you guys in the chat and having fun with you guys. If you want to, make sure you press the like button. Make sure you subscribe. If you're on Spotify, iTunes, or SoundCloud, I appreciate any feedback or anything else that you would like to give me, following the podcast, etc., etc. No matter what platform you are on, I appreciate you nonetheless. I am your host, Yemmy the Ferret, and this has been YemmyCast, a video game podcast.